What's up, y'all? You kicking it with the Junkyard Dog on junkyarddogs.com. My name is Tony, for those of you who don't know, so check it out. We are back in full effect on Project Mayhem and doing the damn thing, just doing the wiring and whatnot. I kind of ran you guys through the wiring that I was doing on the dashboard and the wiring I was doing on my little circuit board or whatever. So now I'm gonna go back to the engine bay wiring. I'm gonna go ahead and bolt down the intake and do the wiring for the coils, because I need to make sure the coils are wired properly. I also need some 90-degree spark plug wires for LS 90-degree spark plug wires. I need that. I'm also going to wire in the alternator and do a little bit of wiring as far as the trunk area. So instead of using a fuse, I decided that I'm going to use a breaker. Being that, you know, a breaker could be reset, you know, so if a situation pops up, I could always reset the breaker, you know what I mean? So we're gonna hook up two 150 amp breakers in the back, one for the main power, one for the alternator, you know, one for power coming to the front and one for power going to the back, just in case there's a short or something or whatever. Boom, we can count on it not like shorting out and starting a fire, because that's like my biggest fear when it comes to like to electrical. All right, so yeah, my leg's still feeling kind of funky still, but it is getting better by the day since I've been able to get a hold of some medication. Thank you to everybody who hit me up to help out. I really appreciate it. So yeah, let's get to it. Let's get back to this. So we still got the mess here, but it's getting cleaner every day. So we have these pins that I ordered from Custom Connection. These are solid pins for the Deutsch connectors, but you see, if you look at these, they're pretty small. I would say that the biggest wire you can get in these would most likely be like a 16. Anything bigger than a 16 gauge will not suffice. So I went back to the supplier and I ordered these, which are supposed to be 14 to 12. So I'm gonna see if it works right now if I threw my money away. But you can see here, it's got a green stripe on it to tell you it's a little thicker. So I'm gonna try it out on the injector. See, this is the injector power that's gonna go into a certain, in this Deutsch connector here, it's gonna go into a certain slot. I gotta check my papers here to see which slot is the injector relay. But yeah, so far so good. All right, so let me go ahead and check this out and then I'll get back. All right, so there it is. You know, that 14 gauge hooked up there beside an 18. See, the pin is in there. Took just a little finessing, but it worked. Nothing crazy, it worked perfectly fine. So now I'm gonna try to hook up the fuel pump wire, but before I do that, I want to kind of line up all these wires up here and get those like kind of where they're gonna be, kind of lock them down where they're gonna be and everything with the clamps that I picked up, and then that way I can know how long the fuel pump wire is going to be. Go from there. All right, let's lock it down. We got it pinned down for the most part, and it goes along here. I'm going to put another clamp right here, but I don't have enough. I put zip tie just to hold together for now, so I can kind of get an idea. There's a clamp there. I got to figure out a way to keep it off this metal. There's like a metal frame piece right here, so I got to figure out how to keep that off. And there's a clamp there. I probably will put another clamp right there. There's one at the top. See? And then it comes down to there, and then it comes to this mess right here. So I'm gonna use breakers instead of fuses, so we can figure out the problem and then keep moving, you know. Installed some riv nuts right here, so this mounts just like that. Side by side, one's for the alternator, one's for the main power. All right, let's go. And we get a light out so we can make this easier to see. It's the battery box. We have the 2 cables in there. Now this is all used stuff, so please don't judge me. These cables are expensive. Boom. Those are new. One's for the alternator. So if the alternator does something weird, it'll pop this fuse, and this is for the main power. So if the main power wire does something weird, it'll pop that breaker. So it goes to the main cutoff switch here, as you see. And the way you wire that basically is you want to where when you cut off the main battery switch, the battery's cut off from everything. Alternator too. You don't want the alternator to be able to keep the car going, which I'm concerned about how I have this wired right now. We have this all hooked up now, so you can see, excuse me, we have the alternator and the main power hooked up to the cutoff switch right there, as you can see. And here it is on the outside. Cuts off alternator power and main battery power. Battery box is wired up. The ground is still not wired up here. I'm gonna probably put it through a hole back here and then tie it to the frame. And then I started to fit the dash in, but you see that broom right there is there because I forget that this is an 85 and that's an 89 dash, and they don't bolt right in. So I gotta make some tabs to put that dash in properly. All right, so there we got the coils back mounted to the doghouse plate. You can't see this trash here, but boom, there it is. Which makes this intake extremely heavy. I'm pretty sure with the Superchargers is probably well over 70 or 60, 70 pounds. It's pretty heavy. Anyway, there's our map sensor right here. All right, so we got the intake, I would say semi bolted down because the 2 back bolts I didn't put in, only because I had the cap welded on and now I can't get through to the top. That's why I was saying about machining out the top and like having a plate that you bolt on, but the problem is with that is my mill is down. For some reason the phase converter is not working. I don't know why. It cuts on and then it sounds like it's locking and then it just shuts off. So I don't know if that's something to do with the power or what. I don't know what's up with it, but yeah, this should be okay for right now, you know. Just kind of getting it in place. So we're gonna start bolting everything back up and getting everything kind of where it's supposed to go. And yeah, get them Superchargers back on there and start working on these the coil wiring. All right, so we got the Superchargers back on there. We got the front pulley plate back on, and obviously the coil packs. I'm absolutely gonna have to re-tap the holes on this intake, on the upper intake. They're just really rough for some reason. I don't know why. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and take the tap and go through them again. Got everything kind of lined up. Now, what I was concerned with doing is for the idle air control, the IAC and the TPS, the throttle body has to be mounted back here. And the Ford throttle body does not bolt up to this. So what I did was I had made my own adapter plate here. This is when I first got on the see I got it to do the circular interpolation, as I call it. So I wrote a program for my CNC when I used to work at this place, and yeah, I wrote this program here to make this adapter plate. So the way this works is, got this Ford throttle body here, 65 millimeter. Only reason why I'm using these is because they're cheap and they're abundant in the yard. So I'm thinking to mount it so. Got this to kind of sit flush by grinding this down. like I said, it got it sit flush. But now we are running into another issue. So the throttle body has to mount with this side at the bottom. But when we go like that, it's got the 2 studs at the bottom. It's got the 2 studs at the bottom and then 2 at the top. And you're supposed to catch the throttle body. Well, first thing I'm noticing is that the 2 studs at the bottom are not going to reach all the way through. And then this stud at the top, as you can see, is hitting the idler control. It's kind of weird, right? So we have an issue there. But otherwise than that, it's kind of hokey to have this kind of poking out at the top like that, but it's the only option we have right now. So we're gonna go with, and then the throttles will be controlled by, pull this way. So I was thinking maybe to kind of have the throttle cable come out and then just kind of loop around and then pull from here, somehow sort of Y connection to open up the throttle bodies. All right, so let's get this stud ground down a little bit. It really doesn't need that much, probably about that much. My boy Mark is here. Check this out. Say what's up, Mark. What up? So he brought me some split loom. Apparently this stuff is better than this cheap plastic stuff, and I could totally see why. It's cheap plastic. So we're gonna use this instead. We're going to the Long Beach Auto Swap tomorrow morning, so be able to get a good length of this for a pretty decent price, hopefully. So I did the ground down the stud to match the throttle body on there. All right, see, but the throttle body at the bottom, as you kind of could see on that side, it's still got a gap, and that comes from the studs being too far apart. So we're gonna go ahead and slot these a little bit so that they can go through, and then I got to get longer studs at the bottom down there because they don't come through. But that's a simple problem. That's not a big deal. All right, I just kind of wanted it in the general area so that I could figure out how long I need the wire for the idler control and the TPS is on this side right here. So once we figure that out, then yeah, we can cut the wires and get them where we want them. And that's pretty much it as far as wiring goes. Only one supercharger needs this, and then the other one is just kind of like a dummy follower. Yeah, so this is the IAC right here, and then I cut it all extra long so that we can figure out where it, you can see right there, and then we just cut it to length. All right, so for the coils, I'm going to be reusing this LS coil harness because I was going to redo it myself, like redo it, like make a whole new one, but man, that was harder than I thought it was going to be. And my fingers are just not small enough or dexterous enough to do it. So I just said, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and clean this one up and use it. So first things first, I want it to look really clean, and I kind of want it to mount in a way that the wires mount behind the coils. So I'm going to go ahead and just test fit it on and kind of get an idea of how this is going to go. All right, let's check it out. Boy, Junkyard Dog was struggling with this harness because it's not exactly fitting the way I thought it would, and I wanted it to look clean, but my man Mark here came up with a bright idea of tucking them behind there. See how it's clean? They kind of come out and they go behind the harness right here, I mean behind the bracket. You see that? Looking clean, you know, and then the main connector is underneath here. So it's where is it?
I'm gonna hidden back there.
Ah, yeah, it's perfect. I can kind of maybe even zip tie them right here, or
yeah, once you get it connected up and then zip tie it up out of the way, or push it, clamp it, or
yeah, there we go. That is good, right? And then all we got to do, and that side is gonna be super short as far as like the coil wires, and this side is a little longer. But see, they're here, right here. Check it out. See. But they're not going to be super long, man, because this goes to the plug, and then 4 of the wires go to one side, and then 4 go to the other side. You know? So that's cool. Yes, late night in the shop. Getting her done, get her done, as we always say, right? So, only thing I think, what else do I have that I took off? I took off the power steering pump. And what else did I take off? I think that was it. Oh, I want to show you guys something too. So check this out. You got these wires. These are plug wires from the LS, right? So what we're thinking about doing is using these. So I had some of these old MSD wires from a custom setup from a long time ago. So we're gonna use these wires and then just use the boots. See the boots, they just slide off, right? From the wire. It's got a weird little connection here at the end. I don't know if it has something to do with the way the coils are. So this wire, it's the way the coil accepts it, right? So we got two options. We either decrimp it, uncrimp it, whatever the hell the proper word for that is. And then we might be able to find this on Amazon. But basically we're gonna create our own wires. See if we can save what, 30 bucks?
Built not bought, baby.
Built not bought, Junkyard Doggin. We're still sticking with the theme. Everything is used on this motor. Everything is used. Like literally everything is used. Look at that. Look. Yes, sir. Everything is used. The only thing that's new on this would be like sensors and stuff like that. But headers used. Heads, valve covers, brackets. Everything is used or custom made. That's the Junkyard Dog way. All right. Yeah, man. I think that's what we're gonna do. Look at that, man. See, he came and helped me solve the problem, right? Two heads better than one. So now my job is to just color code it and then tap it in to the firing order for the MS3. So boom, boom, the mega squirt. So now we just gotta knock out this side and then figure out what we're gonna do about these spark plug wires. And we're coming around the bend, man. We might have to... Nah, I think that's pretty much it after that. Just get the other plug. I'm missing another one of these, which is accessible considering there's 1,000 Suburbans, Yukons in the junkyard. There's like 10,000 GMCs in the junkyard. Like, yo, what went wrong? I thought Ellis was like this super crazy motor, and they're just piled up. Like, what's going on? So yeah. Anyway.
Mechanic coming.
Yeah. So yeah, I gotta get another one of these connectors. The female connector for the other side, and I'll go ahead and clean it up. I'll probably just spray it off or something. And then hook it up, and then this will tap into the yellow harness here, and then that plugs into the plug we have over there by the main harness, and that'll be that for the coil wiring. So we're getting it started. We didn't get all the way through, but we got it started. And as for this, I need longer studs on the bottom. And we're gonna shape this so it's not all boxy and stuff. I'm trying to get away from the squarishness of everything, considering the intake's all square. We decided to see how this comes out, kind of pokes out a little bit. Now, here's a cool idea that Mark came up with. He's been on today. He's been coming up with ideas. Built not bought. He's been coming up with ideas. Instead of me, because first I was gonna use a old cold air tube that I had to kind of bring a tube in there. And he came up with the idea of like, get rid of this mechanism for the windshield wipers, right? And turn this into an air box, right? So we kind of like weld off this area here and just turn it to an air box, put an air filter in there, and boom, we're getting air right there from the top of the motor. Nice, cool air. It'll be nice, man. So, I don't know. We won't be able to drive in the rain, but who knows? I don't think I'll be driving this in the rain.
Southern California, you see your tires? You see your tires? I don't think we're going anywhere in the rain. You even try to drive.
Yeah, I know. Look.
Drive.
This is what he's talking about. Yeah, there's no rain driving in this car. This is strictly race car, and if it is raining, we're stuck.
Because race car.
Yeah, and At this point, I'm still contemplating whether or not I want to run a hood. I probably won't. Because it's just too much work to hide.
I know somebody can cut it.
Huh?
I know somebody can cut your hood.
I got a hood.
I
You
know
got
somebody
it.
can cut it.
And who would that be?
That guy's got a 408 in his.
That's you. Yeah, man. So that's it. It is another night of working on Mayhem. Glad to make some progress. Got one throttle body on there, kind of started fitting it. Got coil wiring on one side, and now we got to figure out this other side, and then we tap it in, and then that is done. That is something that I have been dreading doing for like a month. You know what I mean? Like actually months. I've been dreading doing it. So I feel a lot better, guys. I'm not 100% yet, but I'm getting there day by day, all right? So thank you for watching. Make sure you go to junkyarddogs.com to pick up some parts, post your parts. Guys, I know a lot of dudes have got laid off like me. If you try to make some extra money, go ahead and post them on junkyarddogs.com, man. Go ahead and make yourself some extra cash and keep that family going, all right? Until next time, Junkyard Doggin. Woo!